Well, good Friday evening to you, everybody. How are you? Good to see you. Good to be seen by you. Hope everybody's doing absolutely wonderful this evening. I, of course, am your humble, hairy, happy host, Mr. Bill Sylvie, aka The Dungeon Delver. And it's good to have you here in the audience. Wherever you are, whatever you do, however you do it, I hope you're doing it well, and I hope it's making you happy. We had a fantastic show last night, and if you missed it, you should definitely consider checking it out. If you're just driving by, if you're just saying, oh, YouTube's recommending this live stream, I'm going to go check this out. Check out last night's show. Maybe consider clicking subscribe and the bell icon for notifications so you don't potentially miss anything in the future, because last night we had TSR alum Stephen R. Marsh on the show, and that was very cool talking to him, getting the straight dope on the history of psionics and his early work at TSR and the stuff he's doing right now. We have folks from all over the place come in and talk about what's going on. For example, next Thursday, John Popson of Effin' Cool Minis drops by, and he's going to clue us in on all the cool stuff going on over there at Studio Effin' Cool. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be pretty effing cool. So yeah. So if you're a new viewer who's already subscribed, or you're somebody that's been here since this crazy ride began, welcome. It's good to see you. I'm going to respond to a message here. Anyway, I hope you're all having a good one. I am having a pretty fun one. Last night, my youngest daughter came to me and said, "Hey, Dad, I want to run a D&D game. Can you give me some pointers? Can I give you some pointers?" Now, there's a lot of important stuff that you can tell your kids. But let me tell you this. If your kids are gamers, if they're going to be gamers, if they're going to enjoy tabletop gaming, I will tell you for absolutely free, the most important thing you can tell them when it comes down to it is this from the Dungeon Master's Guide. It is the spirit of the game, not the letter of the rules, which is important. Never hold to the letter written or allow some barracks room lawyer to force quotations from the rule book upon you if it goes against the obvious intent of the game. As you hew the line with respect to conformity to major systems and uniformity of play in general, also be certain that the game is mastered by you and not by your players. Within the broad parameters given in the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons volumes, you are creator and final arbiter. By ordering things as they should be, the game as a whole first, your campaign next, and your participants thereafter, you will be playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons as it was meant to be. May you find as much pleasure in doing so as the rest of us do. And then we got into some of the finer details. We unpacked that a little bit. But it warmed the cockles of my heart that not only does she want to play Dungeons and Dragons, she wants to wear the mantle of Dungeon Master. And that is pretty freaking awesome. So I'm looking forward. I'm genuinely looking forward to finding out just exactly how her game is going to go. And yes, in case you're wondering, I absolutely recommended she play an old school D&D. But maybe she consider Mold Bay Basic and Expert D&D. which of course Steve Marsh wrote Expert D&D. As DM rule number 1, set your minimum bribe level. You got to have standards and know your limits after all. Well, you got to have standards, some standards, to a greater or lesser extent. But yeah, that just made me happy. I was really, really glad that she was looking and taking on the mantle. And I'm excited, you know. This is a very cool moment. Michael Connor Hale. Hey, I have called you out on some of Arcada's streams recently in the friendly hello sense. I have what is it? Kids, I added you. You know, kids say don't at me. I added you, and I didn't see you there. But then I don't blame you because of my screwed up circadian rhythms. You know, I'm saying hello to you or trying to say hello to you at like 3 a.m. local. I don't know where you are in the world, but regardless of where you are in the world, that's late if you're in the United States. But I'm glad I get to say hello to you here on the live streams. So, Hail Lobster, Unprinted, Michael Connor, good to see you. Mobius, hello. Mobius greeting us like a Oblivion NPC. Oh, hi, it's you. Ahoy from the Arkenstone Assessor's Office. Psionics, the redheaded stepchild of D&D. You know, I could use Martian psionics in an AD&D game. I wonder if you'd be willing to give me a deeper look at that. I could go back to accepting the idea of psionics in my game if they're as simple as Steve makes them up. That's right. You're in Largo. You're south of me. You're neither to the left or the right, but directly to the south of me. I tell you, there's so many people here. One of these days I got to do like a little Florida mini get together, mini con, and just, you know, like at Gods and Monsters or something, just throw together a table. But I have other convention concerns going on. Are you signed up for the guac on Band yet? Are you signed up yet? Do you have what it takes to sample the guac with us? And what do I mean by that? If you're just coming by for the first time, you're just tuning in. Check that out. Right there, I put the link in the chat. The Great Underground Online Gaming Convention, the guac. It's a little promise that I made to the faithful here who've stuck with me, who got me up over the hump, who got me over 1,000 viewers. And by the way, we're sitting at 1,069. Nice. Viewers now. So if you want to play in a great online gaming convention, check out that link on Band. There's a whole lot of people got their games in the thing now. Now I put up a couple so far, and I'm going to be putting up some more. But for some people are saying that they can't, like they can't look. Just respond, just reply to my post and say I want to play in this, and I'll figure it out. And this weekend, I'm going to start putting games in rooms on Discord, and that's another thing. Again, if you're new. It is on Discord. It is all virtual. I don't have I don't have a special separate area where I can have 2, 3, 4 dozen people coming in. I wish I did. I wish I did, but I don't. No, this is all via Discord. If you're not on Discord, though, get on Discord and check us out because we have a great little community over there. Let me see here. Let me do the invite. And you can come join us on Discord. It's very, very simple to do. You can ask us questions that we can answer on the show, and you can talk about shows, and you can talk about all kinds of cool stuff. So please do join us. We have such wonderful sights to show you. The very famous man, an actor named Doug Bradley, said that, and I think it's as true today as it was back in the 1980s when he first said it. But anyhow, speaking of games, I checked something out today. I have been watching in mute horror over the last 2 years as Andromeda Strain and Economic Rack and Ruin and scalpers and people that I consider just as low as scalpers, Bitcoin miners, have wrecked the budget PC gaming arena. The NVIDIA 3000 series cards. Now, if you're an AMD fan, if you're Team Red, I don't know how things have been going over there, and I don't really follow it. So if it's been better, bully for you. One thing that I can say is that their APU, which is their high-end processor, but it's also got a high-end graphics chip, middle and graphics chip built onto it. Not just on-chip graphics like, Intel embedded graphics. It's like the same silicon die that comes on their discrete graphics cards. Just, some features cut down. But I've been watching this market as it's fluctuated up and down, and on the NVIDIA side of the house, where personally I think it's better performance, has just been rocked. And I've got a really budget graphics card in my machine. It's a 1650 Super, and I have watched the price of that thing skyrocket to like just a hair under $500. It's a card that should cost like 160 or 170 bucks. I think in late 2019, early 2020, you could get like Dell manufactured ones for like around 149 bucks on eBay. And I considered pulling the trigger on one at that time. And then of course we had, the T virus hit us, and all the stuff that I just said, just compounded onto it. And at the time when people were stuck inside looking for something a little bit more powerful than a tablet to do some gaming, to do some streaming and so on, prices were just getting nuts. And that is finally starting to cool off. The 1650s that I mentioned on Newegg, I'm not crazy about Newegg, by the way, for many reasons. This isn't really a tech channel, so do your homework. Look up Gamers Nexus Newegg on YouTube and you'll see what I'm talking about. But there was a serious price dip lately, and it's affected all levels. So it's getting back to where I can once again say, yeah, get yourself a 6th or 7th gen office PC and throw a 1650 in it, and you've got a budget gaming PC build. And that's pretty cool. And I'm glad to see that coming down. I'm glad to see that more accessible to people. Will it ever be back down to the point where you can reliably do like a $100 PC build challenge? I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know if it'll ever get there again. I think we lived in kind of, Lotus land. Greetings, Dungeon Minister. Good to see you. I hope you got my email about our little special project. But there's a there's definitely a chance that folks looking for some entry level gaming on the PC, look, you just want to play, some AAA titles at 1080p and a decent frame rate. That door is opening again. How long it'll stay this way, I don't know, but I hope that it stays that way for a while. So if you're looking to get into budget PC gaming, things have cooled off a little bit. Now, high-end 3000 series cards, the 3090s, yeah, they're still $1,400, but they're $1,400 as opposed to approaching $3,000, which is what they were like 9-10 months ago. And I had been hearing since the first of the year, graphics card prices are coming down. I wasn't seeing it. And I use that 1650 as my bellwether. And if that thing is, the cost of what a 2070 was back before the outbreak, then no, the prices aren't dropping sufficiently. So things are cooling off. And that's all the tech I have to talk about there. That's all the tech stuff I'm going to talk about. Wednesday, Kyle was back, and he and I, hopefully we answered a great many of your D&D questions. We're going to be doing that again in the future, so don't feel like, oh, well, I missed it. I'll never find out how far an elf can throw a dwarf or what have you. It's 2 inches indoors. It's, or rather, it's 20 feet indoors. It's 20 yards out of doors. But you can always ask us on the Discord, which I've linked to over in the chat over here. If you just check that out. And you can leave comments. I'll open up another comment thread on YouTube in our YouTube community. And I hope you know that we're on YouTube, because how are most of you watching this if you don't know that? But anyway, so it's Mother's Day weekend for all of you guys out there with a special lady in your life who's a mom, be it the lady you're married to or your actual mom. Robert Phillips said, I would like to hear him talk more about the Saga minigame. I'm guessing, Robert, you mean Steve Marsh. You know what? I'll invite him back. Well, of course, I'll invite him back on the show. But the next time we have him on the show, I'll ask him. I'll see if he want. I'll say, hey, bring all your notes for Saga. People have questions, and I know that Luther Pendragon will definitely have questions. So, I mean, the only minigame that I played was, as I said last night, was I played Attack Force when I was a kid, and I recently bought it. I have my own copy of Attack Force again, and it's unpunched, which is pretty awesome. And I was like, man, this thing's like, I think I paid $24.99 for it, plus another $15 shipping or something. Hey, quick save F5. I have to bind quick save to F6 on my Model M. My F5 key is broken. I should get those things fixed someday. I have two wonderful IBM Model M keyboards. One is a circa 1989, which is the one I'm using now, and the other one is a 1991 or 92. It's either 91 or 92 vintage, and they are glorious. They're mechanical. And they sound like an M60 machine gun being fired when I'm really typing. I'll be playing D&D on Monday night and just typing away. And people are like, damn, Bill's got something terrible planned for us. Because they hear the clacketa, clacketa, clacketa. But no, that's just the way it sounds, and I'm just a fast typist. So I should get those fixed someday. I have kind of an okay keyboard. It's a Red Dragon that I use here for streaming. It's all LED lit up and everything. My daughter, I got this from my daughter. She didn't really care for it. So I use it as my streaming PC keyboard. It's mechanical too. And it's kind of nice to have the lit up keys on it, especially like other than the studio lights it's usually shining on me. Here is it's a little dim down here on the desktop. So having a lit up keyboard is nice. But every once in a while, and I understand why my daughter doesn't like this, because she plays a lot of Overwatch. And I'll just be sitting typing away on this thing sometimes, like talking to you guys and like, let's look that up. And I start typing and it just completely has a fit. And I've been lucky that it hasn't like Alt F4'd out of like my streaming software or something. So I try to avoid typing on it as much as possible when I've got an actual live stream going now. And it too is mechanical, but it's also like I can't get with this form factor for long-term typing. It's a tiny thing that's smaller than an old IBM Model F keyboard that had no keypad on it. I need something that's got some weight to it. I mean, this is okay, but I need something that's really chunky. My Model M's do the trick. And they are tough, but I mean, the oldest of them now has a mortgage and a kid on the way. $10 kilos. Yeah. One thing that I've been looking to do, speaking of keyboards, and I've got to try and find this. I hope I didn't just toss it out. Is I have a USB numeric keypad. And a lot of times, like when I'm talking to you guys and bringing up stuff on the screen, like you see the little the little grifting strip across the bottom there for Patreon and Subscribestar. And of course, we do thank you, whether you super chat or support us month to month on Patreon and Subscribestar, or you just come to hang out. I love you all regardless. But like switching over, like when I want to thank the patrons and Subscribestar subscribers, or switch video screens and stuff like that, you can get these, they're like these macro programmable keyboards or Stream Decks or Stream Boxes or something like that. And they're really expensive. I guess Elgato, the company that makes the capture rig that I have going for my for my camera right now, Elgato makes one, and gosh, who else? I don't know if Logitech makes one or not, but the point is you can program macros. Like I could just hit one button and it could switch off my branding, change to a different banner, and then switch over to a different video input. Just I could program all that into a single button. And I was looking at that to kind of make things a little bit smoother around here. But as it happens, there's software that'll do it too. Like you can set up your phone to be a Stream Deck or a tablet or even a numeric keypad if you just want to program a numeric keypad to do it. And somewhere around here, as a gift one year I got from, it may have even been from my parents, a little executive computer repair kit that included stuff like a self-retracting network cable. You know, you've seen the things that's a little spring-loaded spool in the middle and you kind of undo it. But it also had like a USB lamp in it. You just plug it into a USB port and you've got a lamp. Well, one of the things that it also had was a USB numeric keypad for those times when you've got a laptop and you don't want to hold down function and do 10 key entry. That would be ideal. If I can scare that thing up, I'm going to set it up so I can just fly around all the stuff that I like to show you guys. And then I don't have to click or alt tab or any of that nonsense. And that'll be nice. Because again, there's just software that will let you program something like an external numeric keypad, or rather a USB numeric keypad to do that. And that's doubly important because I could bind keys on the keyboard to do it, but we go back to this keyboard having a little bit of a hiccup to it. I'd hate to be sitting like, let's thank those patrons. And I hit like, you know, page up and the keyboard goes Alt F4, gotcha, bip, and I just lose everything. I'd hate that. And I'm sure some of you guys might get a kick out of it. Particularly if you're Luther Pendragon. He Alt F4'd himself out of existence. Woohoo! I gotta give Luther a hard time. Oh my gosh. So tonight, in about a half an hour, we're going to play a little bit of Gamma World. As if you're new to the show, Tuesdays and Fridays, we do game live streams. We play first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons on Tuesday nights, and on Friday nights, first edition Gamma World. And it is first edition Gamma World as created by Jim Ward for TSR. The second, I think, well, no, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say it's a second science fiction role-playing game because I think Traveler came between Metamorphosis Alpha and Gamma World. And there were certainly lots of other people jumping into openings that they saw coming up in role-playing games. There's a lot of that. A lot of that. One of these days soon, I think it'd be nice to grab Dragon, because early Dragon magazine, they were not shy about taking advertising dollars from other role-playing game companies ever, really. And if you had the money and you wanted to buy an ad, no problem. But it'd be kind of interesting to chart, like looking at the strategic review, because think about 1974, 75, maybe even into 1976. Is not really, it's not really even there's no role-playing game market. There's simply Dungeons and Dragons. There's just Dungeons and Dragons, and then Metamorphosis Alpha. But imagine that everything is a formless void, and then suddenly individual RPGs just start popping into being as everyone's now trying their hand. And I think it was there's a good question. Maybe I'll just throw this out there for you guys. To the best of your knowledge, what was the second fantasy role-playing game ever released? Because you got to remember, D&D got a really scathing review from Avalon Hill. You know what? I'm going to bring this up. I want to see if I can find this. Doing that dangerous typing. I want to try and find this because this is too funny. Maybe there. No, I still can't find the damn thing. So they just tore into D&D back in the day. Praxis says there's only AD&D, everything else doesn't really matter, or is a one shot. Well, that's certainly certainly a point of view one could take. Man, it was, this bugs me because I know, like, it was kind of a very interesting tongue-in-cheek moment to go back and look at their review. I'll try one more time, and again, hoping that I don't accidentally Alt F4 out of. Let's see. Let's try. I think, okay, I got it here. Okay, so here we go. This is by Arnold Hendrick. And again, I think this was in come on, let me. Oh, you son of a gun. Other games, you're saying my magical cafe campaign shouldn't use D&D. Okay, so this is Rules Review by Arnold Hendrick. So this would have been, I think, in the general. Dungeons and Dragons by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson. 3 softcover volumes totaling 112 pages with 5 chart sheets, available from Tactical Studies Rules, 542 Sage Street, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, for $10. Subtitled Rules for Fantastical Medieval War Games Campaigns, playable with paper and pencil and miniature figures. These booklets attempt to outline a system for playing the kind of fantasy adventures one previously read about in paperbacks. The concept is remarkably interesting, since the same person interested in matching himself against Napoleon or Manstein might also find comparisons with Conan or John Carter enjoyable. The game is played by various adventurers and a referee. The players, starting in near total ignorance, attempt to adventure in the wilderness around them or in dungeons and underground chambers beneath them. The referee is informed of each action, and after consulting the maps he has made, the basic tables and information in the booklets, and his own imagination, gives the player a response. Those who remember Cora's modern warfare in miniature will see the parallel, although Korn's rules were much more tightly constructed. Here, introductions and I'm sorry, it's very hard to read this. Introductions and monsters of every types and descriptions, from goblins, orcs, giants, and dragons to more esoteric manticoras, chimeras, wyverns, and the Hollywood mummies, purple worms, green slimes, gray ooze, and black pudding. Vastly too much has been attempted with these booklets, with very little detail, explanations, or procedures. For personal combat, chainmail is referred to, but the multiple damage characteristics of characters in this game does not fit with a life or death struggle in chainmail, and neither gives a clue for the effect of missile fire, save perhaps the firer's normal ability is extended up to the range of the missile weapon, with restrictions and special options as allowed in the multi-figure section of the chainmail rules. The resulting mess in interpretations is enough to tax the patience of most gamers to the extreme. Worse, personal combat in the areas is the area receiving the most attention. Things go downhill from there. Play in person is usually oh my God. Play in person is usually impossible, since the referee can only show the adventurer the terrain he is crossing at that instant, plus whatever is in his sight. Only large battles are suitable for the tabletop. The optimum solution seems to play by phone, or when distances are too great, play by mail. For those without gasoline to visit their fellow wargamers, or without a car, Dungeons & Dragons can be very, very interesting indeed. For example, in a test adventure recently conducted, the acolyte Dorn from the village of Thane ventured into the ruins of Takator, opting for an underground dungeon adventure instead of an above-ground wilderness expedition. After finding numerous doors beyond his strength to move, he finally opened one that woke 4 ghouls who charged him directly. The well-equipped Dorn, with mail, shield, spear, and crossbow, was allowed to fire by the kindly referee and then strike first with a spear. Being rather handy with weapons and things, Dorn neatly felled 2 of the ghouls, but was then touched by a third, a circumstance which petrified him, while the ghouls proceeded to kill him, thus turning Dorn into a ghoul. So much for the acolyte Dorn. Better luck in the next life. Beyond the problems involved in play, find an intrepid referee. The other disconcerting factor is price. These booklets are roughly comparable to the Courier in physical quality, but at $3.50 each are priced rather high. Worse, all three are necessary. Graphics, considering the format, are decent, with some excellent illustrations, but some space could have been saved without compromising appearance. In general, the concept and imagination involved is stunning. However, much more work, refinement, and especially regulation and simplification is necessary before the game is manageable. The scope is just too grand, while the referee is expected to do too much in relation to the players. If you need ideas to help you along into your own fantasy games, these booklets will be of use. Otherwise, your $10 will be wasted. I do not recommend these. Oh my goodness. The folks over at Avalon Hill were salty. They were salty. So that was your early review. Let me see. That was your early review of Dungeons and Dragons. Quick save. You're asking, has anybody ever actually played in a game where one person was the caller? Yes. Yes, I have. I have used it very frequently. It can help with organization at an event, so you don't have a bunch of people yelling at you at once. A good compromise is to just go round robin, just say, Bob, what are you doing? Jim, what are you doing? Mary, what are you doing? Steve, what are you doing? And just go down the line, and people will wait until you get to them to tell you what they're doing. But yes, I have used a caller. Was that ever a thing? Again, if you're referring to callers, yes. If you're referring to that review, also yes. I wonder if I can get that as an image. There we go. Okay. So there we go. I've got a copy of that just to keep to hand, to keep close to hand. Tonka Todd, I was just talking about the review in The General, which was a magazine published by Avalon Hill of Dungeons and Dragons back in 1974 by Arnold Hendrick. Let me do something here. If you want to read it, I'll paste it into the chat there. You can follow that link. Just copy and paste that. For some reason, whoever posted it up on Reddit, I guess there's lots of Reddits on D&D. They posted it up as a short film. Like it's literally like a 0-second long movie rather than just being an image. So I don't know. But you can grab it there and you can read it yourself. That's by Arnold Hendrick. Interestingly, if I am not mistaken, I believe Arnold Hendrick went on to work for Microprose. Again, I could be wrong about that. I might be thinking of a different Arnold Hendrick. But we were talking about Microprose tonight on the Discord. Them being a great purveyor of flight sims. If you were into to stick and throttle kind of flight sims back in the day, and I mean like back in the 8-bit day. Of course, Microprose started out not making flight sims, but their original thrust was a lot of different war games. There was Crusade in Europe, D-Day. Oh gosh, there was what was it? Crusade in Vietnam. The Crusade in series basically was you commanding forces through various strategic and tactical scenarios in different theaters. So I wonder, I think a little Googling might be, let's see. What is Arnold Hendrick up to now? He passed away a few years ago, and yes, it was the same fellow. They probably had a World War I biplane game. I know of their flight sims on the Commodore 64. There was Megali Ace. These were not done by Arnold Hendrick, I don't think, unless he did like some of the overview campaign stuff. But there was Megali Ace, F-15 Strike Eagle. There was Gunship, which was my favorite, hands down. And then there was F-19 Stealth Fighter. Back at the time, conventional wisdom said that the F-19 would be kind of a vaguely teardrop-shaped craft, and it would be called the F-19, not the F-117. Interesting bit of history. I'll share this with you. So the military, they've got this weird fixation on numerical designations for airplanes, for everything, really. I mean, during World War II, if you said M1, you could be referring to a Garand rifle. You could be referring to a sight for a howitzer. You could be referring to the can opener that you opened your sea ration can with, or you could be referring to a different type of rifle. So, and this has just gone on over the years. I mean, now if you say M1, you're probably referring to the main battle tank. And the Army just introduced a new rifle called the M5. Well, during World War II, the M5 was a tank. But to go back to aircraft and Microprose and F-19, the U.S. military captured or was gifted by different countries Soviet aircraft. They got a few of ours after Vietnam fell, but we had a lot more of theirs. We had a lot of their top-of-the-line fighters. Up until the end of the 1950s, beginning of the 1960s, military aircraft were what was called the Century Series. F-100, F-101, F-102. There was an F-103, but I don't think it was put into production. F-104, F-105, F-106, F-107, F-108, and so on. Well, when the U.S. military started getting their hands on the MiG-21 and the MiG-23 and so on and et cetera, they gave them F designations because the Air Force and the Navy stopped using the Century Series designations. They switched over to the Teens series. Well, not the teen series, but they basically they started over. F4, F5, and so on and etc. It's kind of like that, Tonka Todd. So, common wisdom said, just based on airplane watchers and little tiny leaks, that the U.S. military was working on a radar invisible plane. Now, at this point in the inventory, in the main inventory, when it came to fighter bombers, the U.S. had, aside from the odd duck, the F-111, the F-14, the F-15, and the F-16. F-17 had already been used for an evaluation of a Israeli fighter jet, which was not purchased by the United States. And then there was the F-18. So people said, logically, the next bird will be the F-19. So Microprose released a game based on what they thought it would look like and what they thought it would be designated, the F-19. So remember those 100 numbers? The MiG-21 was the F-110. The MiG-23 was the F-112 because the F-111 was already in use. So on and etc. Well, when chatter would get picked up, they'd be talking about something called the F-117. And logically, people assumed that we had nabbed another MiG, maybe a MiG-25. And that's what they were talking about when they said F-117. But that's not the case. It was a little bit of sleight of hand, constantly referring to this F-117, when in fact the F-117 was the first stealth fighter. Although it should really be called the stealth attacker. It's incapable of defending itself against another plane or going out and finding another plane to shoot down. So again, in the 80s, the F-19 logically assumed. Now, an interesting thing, part of its design that is in the game, the box art, the screenshots in the game, came because testers, the model company, said, well, logically, what would a radar evading aircraft look like? Well, it would be all curvilinear, no flat surfaces for radar waves to bounce off of, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember it was funny. I took this civics class in community college in '89. And that year, the F-117, there were finally pictures of it. And of course, it looks kind of like a diamond. And in the civics textbook, which was very left-leaning, they railed about the military-industrial complex and how, they bungled everything and couldn't do anything right. And, despite the touted secrecy of the Pentagon, 3 years ago, a toy company revealed what the new stealth fighter looks like. Well, no, they didn't. They didn't even get remotely correct on that. I just always thought that was kind of funny. So there's your military history lesson for the evening. That was one of the sims. Of course, I didn't know any better when I got F-19 stealth fighter. Microprose later changed the name to F-117A and altered the in-game models and so on and et cetera. So, to make it more accurate, but you still flew the same missions. Otherwise it was still the same, but they did update the manual and say, hey, This is why we thought it would be called F-19. So if you're buying this, I mean, it even, I think some of the early boxes even said, formerly called whatever. But there you go. That's just a little bit of airplane history and a little bit of video game history for you. And of course, there were so many great sims that came out from Microprose rather. After that, I remember digging into the sequels to Gunship, which was called Gunship 2000, which let you fly different helicopters as well as the Apache, M1 tank platoon, F-15 Strike Eagle 2, and of course a lot of people remember Silent Service, which was a World War II submarine simulator. Subwar 2050, which was purely a science fiction game, but it was very they put their own spin of realism on it. They tried to make it as high fidelity as possible, despite the fact that you're in a submarine. And one of the most interesting parts was you could crash in your submarine. And how? Most of your combat, you fought really, really deep in the ocean. And if you surfaced too fast, your submarine would break apart. It would explode from within because of the pressurization. I always thought that was a nice touch. Speaking of nice touches, now that I've rambled on about nothing, please allow me a hot moment here before we get started. We're still waiting on a couple of people to join in the Gamma World game. I hope they'll join in the Gamma World game. Please allow me to take a moment to thank our Patreons and Star subscribers, by which I mean Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damien 247, James F. Keck, William Smith, Dungeon Minister, Maddie Wall, Mark Corey, Kevin Wood, Todd Sharp, Carnivore Farmer, Rob Can't Say That I'll Get Bangelus, Jeremy Rule, Bo Ganora, Mikey Mank, and Sky Hernstrom. Thank you all so very, very much. I really appreciate it. All of us around here appreciate it. So with that said, we've just got a couple of the Gamma World folks in. We'll play for a little bit this evening, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the experience as much as I enjoy running it. And as always, if you have any questions or comments about the game as it plays, please, please, please do just, let's see, where am I? Get my Gamma World rules open there. Please just pop them in the chat. Let me grab my headphones. Now, if you're just coming by for the first time and you're wondering do we do this with miniatures or virtual tabletop? Not Gamma World. The AD&D game, I have a lot of fantasy miniatures and terrain, and we do that. But for right now, we've been talking about maybe adding a visual element. But for right now, we just do theater of the mind here with Gamma World. So get my headphones on and welcome Mobius and James Keck to the stream. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Well, it is going fine and dandy. So,
Gerg.
Lord Corion says, what's my favorite dinosaur? Does it have to be a dinosaur or just a prehistoric animal? Because I'm going to have to go with Carcharodon megalodon, a shark the size of an attack submarine.
Those sour jujubes are pretty good.
I don't think that's the question asked, but okay.
Dinosaurs for a reason.
Oh my gosh, you're fired. You're fired. All right. So, when we last left the party, you guys had gone down into the depths of the Citadel of the Ancients to stop the power source from doing something terrible. And Milo and Gurg and Rex, you are all able to work various controls, and you think you shut it off. All the lights that were red are green, and the scary buzzing sound has stopped. So there you are, a great deep distance below ground. Your elevator is wrecked. What do you wish to do?
Yeah, I think we decided we were going to explore a little bit while we were down here before we started the long climb back up the stairs.
Okay.
Yep, I think that was the plan.
Okay. So your buddy Rex says, I will attempt to repair the elevator. Some of my past memories of the ancient times are coming back. I may see if I can get this functional again, but in the meantime, if you want to explore, I'll be here in my power armor trying to fix it.
Good.
All right, it looks kind of wrecked to me, but have at her.
All right. So you are presented. You know, you've got a few different halls leading off in a few different directions. There's the intersection you were at when you were attacked by a security robot.
I lick my finger and put it up into the sky or into the air and feel for a breeze.
There are many ventilation ducts everywhere, so it is being blown on by every direction.
Which way does it look like the robot came from? The direction we went to get to the control room, or?
Yes.
It did come from the control room?
It did.
Okay. Do we have any coins we could flip? We should have some dough.
The left way is the best way.
Gerg. Sounds good to me. So I guess we're heading left at that intersection.
All right, so you're heading left at that intersection. It is a metallic hallway. There's very little dust here. Periodically, and it doesn't look like they were placed haphazardly. Periodically, there are stacks of boxes in various states of decay just from age. There are obvious. The hallway itself is sort of circular, and every 2 meters there's like a rib, a support rib that juts out into the hallway, maybe 60 or 70 centimeters. It looks distressingly a lot like you're walking down a steel esophagus. But there are dim lights along the ceiling that must be powered by the power system that you've just left.
Yeah, hopefully repaired.
That you hopefully repaired, exactly.
The boxes, are they like crates, or are they like cardboard boxes that we don't, like some lids or something on them, or what?
Some of them have burst open, and there's even smaller boxes that seem to be of a gray brown paper, but the majority of them are some tough plastic material, green plastic material that you can't, not 100% sure what it is. A few of them have, as I said, fallen open and spilled their contents out on the floor, which are these smaller boxes of paper.
Okay, so the paper doesn't look useful to us other than maybe for kindling. Check out some of the plastic boxes.
Okay.
So we can get them open and see what's inside. Do they have any markings on them that tell us to stay away?
No, actually, they don't. In fact, there is a strange word on them in the language of the ancients. It's painted on in yellow. You recognize the letters. You don't know what it means. It's here. I will put this up on screen. That's what it says.
Gerg will try to get one of those boxes open.
Okay. Neatly stacked inside, fit exactly perfectly, are boxes about 3 centimeters thick by 7 centimeters wide by 30 centimeters long.
Okay, he'll pull one of those out and kind of look at it and see what there is, what it, if it has any writing on it.
It does not. There's just a series of black lines on both sides in a pattern. Some of the lines are thicker, some of them are thinner. They're all parallel, and there's a series of numbers underneath it.
Try to open one of those boxes.
Easily done. There are 2 pouches there. You don't know what's in them. It's a very strange feeling texture. It kind of crackles faintly under your touch. Feels like there's something maybe kind of liquidy inside.
Try to find a way to open the pouch, cut it open or bite into it or something and pull out something.
Okay. You can bite into it. It seems pliant.
Okay. Take a chomp.
Okay. What's your constitution?
Let's see.
See if
It
it's
is 16.
16. Okay. Yeah. Something just absolutely rancid floods into your mouth when you bite into it.
Yeah.
Just, it is the most horrible tasting. Just, you're not sure what this is supposed to be, but it's clearly not edible.
Throw it across the hallway. Against the wall.
It hits the wall with a wet smack.
Yeah, I'll leave those alone.
I'm just putting it out as best I can.
Yeah, it's foul. It may have been food at some point. You're not sure, but it's not now. 200 years later.
Okay.
Keep moving down the hall.
Yeah, hop down from that and start moving on down the hall.
Okay. Let's
Guess
see.
I'm still kind of laughing at him spitting out everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, when he bit into it, it's just like this rotten meat smell, like just wafted out of the package.
Yeah. Maybe we'll find some better crates.
That
one was already like kind of busted.
Well, no, he opened that one up. That was a fresh one.
Figuratively speaking.
Figuratively speaking, that.
Yeah, it's only 200 years fresh.
Yeah. You are not Steve, MRE 1989. Okay. There is a door on your left that is shut. It has that you've seen it before. The black and yellow slashed lines close together. It is some kind of double door, and it curves. It follows the curvature of the hallway, and it is shut.
Any of those little boxes beside it?
There are no little boxes beside it. No.
Okay, I guess we don't need the key cards. Just move up towards it.
Oh, that kind. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the pallets of
Oh no,
boxes.
those little key card boxes.
Oh yeah, no, there is one of those actually.
All right, you got him, Gerg?
Gerg, pull him out of the little satchel I'm carrying, I guess, and hand them to him.
Okay.
I just start with the colors: green, yellow, red.
Okay. You go through a couple, and the doors slide open, and rotating red lights start flashing, and there is a buzzing sound.
Which color opened it?
A violet colored card.
Okay.
You are looking into a long room. There are metal cubes in a row down the center that are about man height, and a set of them on the left and on the right, and between them are what look like benches.
I'll take a look at the metal cubes to the right that aren't the benches, or are they all benches?
No. The metal cubes are not benches.
Are they like all in a row?
Yes.
Okay.
And they are closed. Each one has a door.
Can I open one up? I'm going to try to open one up.
Okay. It's very lightweight construction, but it does not immediately open.
Take a look at it. Is there any type of mechanism on it?
Yeah, there's a little latching mechanism on it.
Okay. I'm assuming that latch is closed.
It is.
Okay, I'm gonna look around for one that's open.
There are a couple that are ajar.
The butt of my right.
I was just going to say, as you approach them, you can see exactly opposite the door you just came in, there is another identical door on the far end of the room. So you're saying you're approaching one of these, and with the butt of your rifle, you're easy.
Yeah, I guess the barrel of my rifle will open up one of those that are unlatched.
Okay. Sitting in almost a sort of fetal position inside is someone or something wearing an all yellow garment that includes a hood that covers their face, that has hoses coming out of it that lead to some kind of contraption on its back.
I raised the rifle and pointed at it.
It does not move.
Erg will walk over and kind of poke it with his little finger.
Okay.
Didn't you sense it? How come you didn't sense that, Gerg?
Gerg.
It falls over.
You failed me.
And Gerg, you're close enough. You can see that there is a clear faceplate on the hood in the part that's not covered by the hoses going up to metal fixtures, and there is a skull inside.
I'll let him know that whoever's inside is dead.
Didn't make it. Huh?
Whoever it was, they did not.
I guess that suit wasn't very good. Should we take it off him?
Does the suit look intact, or is it tattered, or
got
holes in it or anything?
Yeah, it's actually got a couple of holes in the front. They don't look like they were made by weapons like slashes or anything, just like accidental rips or something.
Mm.
All right, move on to the next open one.
Okay, there are hooks inside. There's a set of boots that are the same color yellow as whoever this unfortunate individual was. They match his suit. They're big boots too. They would come up to your knees if you put them on.
Gerg's going to check out that body and make sure there's nothing on it that we could possibly take with us.
There's a violet key card. It is identical to the one that you opened the room with.
Go ahead and snag it and put it in my pouch just to have an extra.
Okay.
And that was all that was in that locker, or I mean that cube.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to check out one of the mechanisms on the ones that are closed. Do they appear to have anything keeping them from being opened?
It's just sort of you don't know. It's kind of a handle thing. There's a flange next to it. You're not sure.
Can I try to open it? Figure out how to open it?
Sure. If you want to give me a die roll.
Sorry, I got a 7 and a 1.
Yeah, you kind of jiggle it a little bit. It doesn't give way at first, and then pushing it again, you hear a click. The mechanism slides up a few centimeters, and it swings open. There is a set of the yellow clothing here hanging from a hook. A pair of matching boots, and that's it.
Okay. Gerg will get Milo's attention. Gerg!
Check it out.
I'll show him how to operate the little latch thing so he can check out other cubes.
Well, I was watching the first time. I'm amazed.
Oh, okay.
You figured it out. But you're smart for a little raccoon.
Gerg.
Okay. So looking around the room in the various lockers, there's different pieces of equipment. We can go through the entire table of what it is if you want to specifically search every locker.
Maybe on the way back. I imagine there's a lot of yellow suits.
Surprisingly, no. The boots, the one hanging up and the tattered one, we got an admonishment from Volcano God. Jim Ward is turning over in his grave and the dude isn't even dead yet. Let's go. Thank you, Volcano God, for the super, though. We do appreciate that. So yeah, you've got these yellow suits, you've got these lockers. There's a door on the far side of this room. What do you want to do?
Check out the door. You said it was another rib door like this one, the previous one?
Yes, it is similar to that one.
Well, I said we try that violet card you got there. Must try the new one.
Gurgle, try it in the mechanism.
Okay, there's a single klaxon blast. You hear the door behind you leading out of the hall boom shut. The one in front of you opens, and let's see. What is Gerg's constitution again?
16.
16. Okay. Gerg, you take 4 points of damage from radiation. Or you take 4 points of radiation. And what is Milo's constitution?
Mine is 13.
13.
But I also have that where I can reflect radiation in random directions. So I don't know if this one will get me.
All right, well, roll it. let's see if you accidentally microwave Gurg.
That's an 18.
Well, we're looking. Let me see. Reflection. We gotta.
Physical reflection,
Yeah. Physical reflection. Mutation. Random direction. Okay, so I'm sorry. Make it a D6 roll.
6.
Okay, you do not accidentally microwave the raccoon.
Yes. Good. I didn't want to have to bite you.
I was bitten by a radioactive raccoon, and that's how Gamma World goes, folks. All right. So let's see here.
Shut the door.
Yeah, beyond the room, or when you open the door and you all get bathed in radiation, you can see there is a short hallway. There's some kind of room beyond it. Lying in the hallway are several yellow-suited bodies or skeletons or whatever. There is a box lying on the floor that looks like it's made out of metal. It appears to be very reinforced. The lid is off, and there are bluish glowing rods stacked in the box.
Yikes. Shut the door.
Yeah, let me shut the door.
At least we go put one of them suits on.
Okay. So let me see here. What is the effect of Gurg absorbing? How many points did I tell you there? 4.
4. Yeah. I may have another eye.
Yeah. No mutations, fortunately.
Okay.
All right. So you use the you use the key, and the door slides shut, and you hear a hissing sound above you.
Look up.
There's just some yellowish dust sort of just jetting fitfully out of a row of holes above you. It continues for a minute and then stops.
What do you think, Gurg? What the heck?
I think we probably need to get out of this room. It's attacking us. I don't think my life leech will work on this room.
All right, we're back up.
Yeah, can we get out through the other door now? Is it opened again, or?
It is still closed, so you're not sure.
And is there a card slot on this side of the door?
There is.
Okay, try that card in that door.
Okay, door opens up, and you can step back out in the hall if you wish.
Yes. At least we didn't get stuck in this room. Guess we'll look around the hallway again, see what else is down through here.
Did you say there was another way to go?
Yes. Let's see. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, Gurg. I said you took 4. That's actually dice. That's not total points.
Okay.
Sorry, Gerg.
Oops.
That's 14 points of damage that Gerg takes from radiation.
Okay, that's okay. I can handle that. Let's see. I may have to delete you. I don't know.
I just start looking at him warily.
This hurt you more than hurt Gerg. Okay, so further down the hall ends. There's kind of this, it looks distressingly a lot like a set of teeth that close sideways, but they're made out of metal. They're sort of zigzagged, and on the zigzag pattern, there's more of that black and yellow striping. And above it, there is what looks like may have been some kind of metal box, but it had a glass front, but the glass front is broken out now. There are a couple of card slots. There's one on each side, and they have a little violet light shining above them.
Like we need 2 or more than 1?
Like maybe you need 2, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so we just happened to have found an extra one, so
Yeah. All right. You first, or at the same time?
probably same time.
Well, let me know telepathically when you're about to go.
Okay, I'll let him know.
We go on 3. Wait, we go on 3 or 1, 2, 3, then go? All right, so you coordinate, you get the cards put in. Once again, lights are flashing. The doors are slowly opening. And you are now looking into a chamber that is very similar to the operations chamber that is, you don't know how many meters above you in the main base.
Are there any dead suits laying around? Yellow suits with skeletons in them.
There are no yellow suits. There are crumbling gray jumpsuits with skeletons in them, lying here and there.
Familiar?
No, you don't recognize these skeletons at all.
No, I mean the suits.
The suits.
You've seen tattered remains of suits like this in the upper base.
Okay.
I guess start looking around in here and see what it is.
Yeah, start foraging, scrummaging.
Checking out the bodies, see what they've got on them.
Okay. One of the bodies, whose suit is a little bit more elaborate looking than the others, has a violet card clipped to it.
Take that.
You do notice that one of the bodies lying on the floor, there's nothing really to note except lying under its bony hand is a bottle, a small container, and there are a few crumbling bluish white pellets that have spilled out of the container.
Well, if he's dead, whatever those were probably might have killed him.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sniff.
Probably wasn't for a headache.
I'm just going to sniff them. I'm not going to try to taste them or anything like that.
They smell kind of acrid and bitter.
Scoop them back up into the bottle.
Yeah. Is there a lid or anything on the bottle or near the bottle? Or
yeah, there's
any writing on the bottle?
No, there is not.
Okay.
Just scoop them up and tap it up and put it in my pouch to check it out later.
Okay. There are even though there's power on here, the few bodies that are here, the few skeletons that are here, are all sitting at the consoles of the ancients.
That's weird.
Go check out these consoles, see what they've got, if there's anything displayed on them.
They stayed at their posts to the bitter end. Holy.
There's not anything displayed on them. In front of each is the arrangement of buttons that have letters on them. You've seen stuff like this before. Not exactly like this before, but it's not unfamiliar.
Should I check one of these out?
Sure, yeah. Why not? What harm could it do?
I think that's the last words. Okay, I guess I'll start. I'll push one of the skeletons out of the way and try to
Just shove it out.
Yeah.
Clatter. All right.
Start,
Gert climbs up on the chair and proceeds to type away, and we all know what time it is. Time to consult the table. Go ahead and give me a couple of dice rolls to kick it off, James.
6 and a 2.
A 6 and a 2. Takes you a minute. You know there's a button here that makes the screen light up, and eventually you do find it, and you switch it on.
Okay.
And there is a blank screen, and you just see this. Hang on. Remember my old school terminal stuff. Yes, even in the 22nd century, people were still using IBM terminals.
Duck Dodgers in the 21st century.
Okay, I guess I'll try some more buttons. Got a 9 and a 3.
Let's see.
Klaxon sound and missile launches.
Let's see. Yeah, you hit a couple of keys, and that splash of text on the screen goes away, but nothing appears to replace it. It's just a slender green line in the upper left-hand corner that is slowly strobing off and on.
Okay, try some more. Got a 7 and a 2.
Initially, nothing changes it, but you are now looking at something. And again, I'll put this up on the screen. That's now on the screen.
Okay.
Slap him on the back and start rubbing his shoulders like a prize fighter.
I got a 7 and a 4.
Yeah. No, do you try the same thing that you tried previously to get to that point, and it doesn't change anything? It just kind of blinks with every key that you hit or every function key you press, and doesn't change at all. It stays the same.
Okay. Are there any card slots on this console or anything?
There is one above the keyboard, but it is smaller than any of the cards you have.
Okay. This time I get a 5 and a 2.
You give up on hitting the function keys and try a couple of vaguely remembered words from a previous computer, and you're looking at something that says command menu, and there's a bunch of different words listed down the screen. The one, there's one that is surrounded by green and the letters are black, and it reads alter alert status.
Push that one.
Okay. So there's a sort of a hissing sound. A door on the far end of the room opens, and a couple of machines that look identical to the one you faced at the intersection roll out on their little robotic treads.
As fast as I can.
They kind of
Hit the back button. Hit the back button.
Their cranial turrets around the room a little bit in the motes of dust and so on. You can see like red beams, and they stop and look at you guys. And one of them vocodes, unauthorized personnel detected. Remove unauthorized personnel. Lethal force authorized.
I just pull out the violet card. Hold it up.
Diving behind the control panel, at his laser rifle.
Then I'm doing that.
All right, let's roll initiative. Since Milo is not diving for cover. You got a 6. Okay. They bring their arms, which you know now are basically just weapons holders, up, and you dive behind the console, and they proceed to blast where you're just sitting. Like, you can smell melting metal and burning plastic and all sorts of stuff.
Between us and the door we came in is about how far?
Maybe 5 meters.
Damn, too far.
I guess I'm going to take a shot at one of them.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
18.
That will hit.
Let's see. 18.
Okay, you see sort of the splash of rainbow color in the air just before it, and this wash of heat. And there's sort of this flickering blue kind of halo hovering right in front of it. They shot it where you guys were sitting, so it's a new round. James, go ahead and roll initiative for the side. They're maneuvering around to try and shoot you guys.
5.
They got a 2.
Okay. Blast away.
All right.
20.
That will hit, definitely. Mobius, is Milo taking a shot?
My laser rifle. I got an 11.
An 11. The 20 definitely hit. James, roll that.
Total of 20 damage.
Okay. Once again, you kind of see that rainbow sheen when your bolt crosses something, but the sort of blue flicker is completely gone. You're 11 for Milo. Let me see. Let us see. That's Poison Matrix. You're not trying to poison the robots.
Not yet.
Yeah. Run up with that bottle of pills. Eat this.
The security robot did not suicide himself.
The 11, the rifle's a class 13 weapon,
13,
yeah?
right? Yep.
Let me see. All right, I lost my place here. My apologies. Come on. I was talking about the keyboard earlier. It's fine.
Class 2.
Oh, then you hit it. Yeah, you hit it. Sorry.
So that's 4 die 6. Ooh, 6. 9 points damage.
Okay, yeah, you slag some metal down, and you know there's definitely components sparking and shorting and whatnot. Counterfire.
Duck back behind the thing.
Not quite fast enough. Milo, you are hit. For 18 points, unless you can you reflect? Is laser energy something you can reflect?
I think that is a specific thing. You can only reflect one.
Yeah, I only have the radiation one. You can only do one or.
Okay.
Can't do them all, just one.
That stings quite a lot then.
It is.
Gerg, you take another 14 points.
Ow. Is there a way we can like zigzag around these control panels to where we can have them chase us around until we get close to the doors to get outside?
Well, I mean, it's a straight shot to the doors if you guys want to try and flee, but
They're trying to keep those panels between us and them.
Okay. Let's roll initiative, and if you guys do win initiative, then you can zigzag.
I got a 5.
They rolled a 2, so yeah, you can duck behind this panel and dive behind that panel. And you are now close to the door.
Okay.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
You can dodge a wrench. That does not hold that you can necessarily dodge a laser rifle blast.
Okay. I guess we'll try to get through the doors and seal them in with the key cards.
Okay.
How fast did those doors open? Did they open fairly quickly, or were they slow?
Oh, they were fairly quick.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, well, I tell them I'm going left, you go right. So we each got to do one at the same time, right?
Gerd.
All right. Well, they still get their actions.
Okay.
And that is a pair of misses. You're zigzagging and ducking behind counters adds enough to your AC that you are missed, and they blast and carve away chunks of metal.
So and head around, just back to the wall. Poof.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then card in the slot.
Yep.
All right, the door's shut and you hear a fusillade of energy bolts slamming into it.
Well, hopefully they calm down after they realize we're not there anymore.
Yeah. And hope they don't have cards or a way to hack the door. Okay, we're going to get away from these doors as quickly as possible.
Memory serves, there was one more way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, where to?
The last way.
Yeah, the other direction. Go back to the intersection and go down the other hallway, I guess.
All right.
It's bad air the last ways.
While we're traveling, I want to apply one of those med packs.
All right. So you slap a med pack on, and as you're walking along, it's doing its thing.
Okay.
It used Brex with his suit.
Yeah. Stuff Gerg in here. Brex is like, I'm not comfortable with the raccoon being shoved in my suit.
Milo, does Milo have any of the med packs left, or is he out?
I don't have any of the. I have 3 med kits, but none of the packs left.
It's the same thing. It's
is it?
med kit, med pack, same thing.
Okay, I thought those other ones were something else. Okay,
No,
I still have 3.
Slap one on, heal up if you need to.
Yeah, I guess. How much do you get back from those?
It's basically fully heals you up, but you can't attach it and then go sprinting down the hall. You've gotta
just casually stroll.
Yeah. It's doing its thing. It's
get those 18 back, I guess.
Yeah.
59. It's dangerous down here. I thought this was our place. We're gonna have to come back and deal with those robots sometime with the rest of the guys.
Or find some way to deal with them from the computer consoles upstairs.
Shut them all down.
Yeah.
Hurry. Star Wars there. Shut them all down. Hurry. Okay. So let's see here.
Down the hall.
You walk down the hall and there's another door set in the wall, and it's marked Operation Omega Equipment Prep Room.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. Is there a key slot there next to the door?
There is. It is also violet.
With the laser rifle ready, I'll let Gerg slot the card.
Okay, I can slot the card.
Okay. Door slides open. It's initially dark in the room, but lights start to come on. The room is mostly empty, but there are a few beds, as it were. Most of all of them are empty except for one in the far corner of the room. There's a sheet over whoever is on that.
You didn't make it. All right, well, and that's the only thing. Like, all the other beds are empty.
There's
no any tables or desks or
storage
benches
or anything.
Lockers.
Interestingly, there are a few. Hang on a second. There are a few. I'm trying to think of. They look like computer consoles, but they have little wheels on the bottom, like you could roll them around.
Gerg's going to go check out the thing in the corner there under the sheet.
Okay. Under the sheet, there is a female pure strain human wearing a blue smock. Just short, dark colored hair, just lying there staring at the ceiling. Eyes are open, not moving. Doesn't seem rotten or decayed or livid or anything like that.
Is there anything attached to her?
No, you do not see anything attached to her.
Pull the sheet right off of her.
Okay. She has a no buttons on her.
Come on, Data.
She is she's wearing this blue cloak or robe kind of affair that extends from her neck to her ankles and down to her forearms. Does not respond to having the sheet pulled off.
Weird.
Try to see if she's got any thoughts going on in her noggin.
No.
Check around on the bed to see if there's anything on it that might identify her or anything.
You don't see anything on the bed that might identify her. There's
Oh.
a couple of holes along the edge of the bed. Some of them have metal tines coming out of them. Some of them don't.
Check out the metal tines, see what they are.
It's smaller diameter even than a Domar coin. And it's just a neatly arranged series of metal prongs that come out of the middle of the tiny hole.
Device of the ancients.
No
touch
buttons, no buttons or anything on this thing, control panels or anything anywhere other than on the beds. I mean, on the carts.
That is correct.
Okay. I'm gonna see if there's anything on the cart that might attach to the bed.
I'm sorry, there's a little crosstalk there. You're going to see if what will attach to the bed?
If there's any like cables or anything that might attach to the bed off of one of the carts.
Yeah, you think maybe?
I'll try to get Milo to bring one of those carts over for me.
Yeah, I'll wheel one over for him.
Okay.
Try to figure out a way to plug it in.
Okay. Attaching it seems fairly straightforward. As far as doing anything with, I mean, the console doesn't react when you do that, and nor does she.
Okay. If there's nothing else in the room, I guess we're done here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they were preparing for much.
Well, I mean, I should point out the console is off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Turn the console on.
Okay. We'll start making some dice rolls then.
Okay.
Oh, you just hear a sound. Light rays come out of nowhere.
Got an 8 and a 4.
An 8 and a 4. Okay. You fiddle with it, nothing happens, and you realize, oh, the power switch is on the other side. Bunch of data just kind of flows across the screen. And I mean, you've definitely made progress. It says BIOS cognitive function test.
Okay, try again. Got a 5 and a 1.
Okay. You're not sure what it is exactly you selected, but she raises up her hands, turns them in front of her face, blinks a few times, and then puts her hands back down.
I'll look at Milo. Gerg.
Choke us.
All right, roll again here. Play around with a few more buttons. A 9 and a 5.
Okay. She spasms, her eyes close, but then they open again, and she is starting to sit up.
I'll stare at her and see if she does anything else. Is she just sitting there staring straight ahead, or?
She's just sitting there staring straight ahead, holding on the edges of this gurney thing that she's sitting on.
Push a few more buttons. I get an 8 and a 1.
Okay, she starts again and kind of wobbles a little bit, but then stands up, looks at you both, and says, "Mission profile and parameters, please."
I look at Milo.
Actually, it's looking at Milo. It
Okay.
doesn't even look at Gerg. It just looks at Milo and says, "Mission profile and parameters, please."
Does it say anything on the box?
Anything on the console here that
Parameters.
yeah.
It just says boot up, process complete.
Oh, okay. I'll point to that on the screen.
I say boot up process complete.
She addresses you and says, "That is correct. Boot up process complete. Mission profile and parameters, please."
I think it wants us to tell it what to do.
Rise. Rise.
She kind of cocks her head slightly and says, "I am already standing."
Report on progress.
All functions nominal. Boot up process is complete. Awaiting instructions.
Maybe ask what its primary function is. If it knows what its primary function is.
What is your primary purpose?
Designation unset.
Medical, military.
We can basically program it to do whatever we want it to do. We just have to give it the programming.
Within PG reason, guys. I don't want to get demonetized.
You just never come back up.
Yeah.
Okay, we can designate her to take point.
Is there anything on the console that would have any information that we could feed into her, like any programming?
Nope.
Just tell her to follow. Follow and obey.
Okay. She starts strolling behind you.
Okay. Was there
Good
anything
enough.
else beyond this door down the corridor? Is there nothing more hallway to explore, or was this the end of the hallway?
No, that's the end of the hallway.
Okay. Well, I suppose we go back to Rex and introduce him to our new pet here.
Yeah, so Rex is having about as much luck repairing the elevator as you thought he might. He's kind of bent the floor back into shape in a couple of places in his power armor, and sees you coming and, "Oh, hello, ma'am. I didn't realize you were down here. My name is Rex Dashington." And he extends one of his power suit hands. She just kind of looks him up and down and rattles off a string of numbers and letters, and when she's done, says power armor.
Okay, so she recognizes power armor.
Yeah.
Does she know what's in that other room that we put those sentry droids on? And like, does she know anything else down in here?
I mean, you're not aware if she does or not.
You can ask her.
Yeah. Are you? How did you get deactivated? Were you ever activated? I guess.
This is the first activation period.
Oh, she's fresh.
Yeah.
Well, are there any other levels in this facility?
Define this facility.
Yeah, she's like a baby. She doesn't know anything. She's just brand new. Wonder if she can read anything. I'll telepathically tell you to ask her if she can read.
Do you know the ABCs?
I know the alphabet in 16 languages.
I think she understands.
Those boxes that had the papers in them, could we get some of those and have her look at those and see if there's anything she could figure out how to do with that or whatever? I'd run down that corridor and try to get some of those papers and bring them back.
Okay.
It fell out of the boxes.
All right. This is the packaging for a single emergency survival ration, beef stew type, with fruit flavored energy drink, 1,500 kilocalories.
What's the life expectancy on those? How do you make one?
Information on the manufacturing process is not currently stored in my database. Shelf life expectancy, if stored properly, is 75 years.
Oh. 125 years too late. Okay.
Okay. Guess we got to try to find a way to get out of here. Rex has had no luck getting the elevator put together.
Yeah, no, he hasn't.
So head to the stairwell and start the long process up.
Is there a stairwell? Did we notice a stairwell?
It might be further down the hall from the elevator because there's still hallway in that direction.
Oh, well, I guess
Yeah, go check that out.
Yes,
I say send her first.
He is supposed to take point after all.
She's the sentry bot now.
She walks to the end of the hall and stands there facing the wall.
Okay. Nothing down here. No doorways. No nothing. Okay.
Nothing jumps out at her. No.
Okay, that's good.
But I mean, there's no like doorways or anything that says exit or anything.
No.
Well, that's a dead end then.
Direction.
I'm sorry. Crosstalk there.
Was there any other corridor or anything in the other direction?
No.
Great.
There is a there's a heavy door maybe 10 meters down from the elevator, and it's very clearly marked stairs.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess
Start the long climb.
yeah, I guess we need to start heading on up. I'll get on top of Rex's shoulders there and point to the stairs.
Oh, this is going to get old after about 20 floors. You realize that?
What floor are we on? 85th. Why? Tell me when we get to the 90th. How come? Because I'm going to throw up.
Rex can carry me, and the robot can carry you, Mila.
Worms.
I mean, you could order her to. You don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I figure we'll send her first, and we'll start the climb. I'll go as long as I can.
Okay.
Feel like it's going to be like going to the top of the CN Tower or something.
It's yeah. Oh, the CN Tower. That's the tallest igloo in Canada, right?
Yeah.
You guys had to build that thing to stop the polar bears from getting up and interfering with TV. Okay, so you climb, and you do have to stop and rest periodically. It is a long climb up.
The stairwell seems clear though, and relatively dirt free. Still,
Other than the occasional skeleton lying in front of a door, on what you presume are closets or leading to other sublevels, you don't know. Other than that, yeah, but that's like 2.
definitely search some corpses. Grab a couple of their key cards if they got them.
Yeah.
All right. They both have pistol-like devices that are similar to Smith and Wesson. Let's see.
One of them.
Okay.
I'll take those and carry them back with us.
Both are pretty corroded. The worse off looking one of them, it looks like whoever it belonged to, he tried to use it to beat open the door. But you can take them both.
Spare parts.
You never know.
All right, you follow the stairs. It goes up and up and up and up, and you are exhausted, but eventually you come to a large sealed door that is labeled level A, and there are no steps above it.
Whew. We made it. Ugh. I never want to go back down there again. We'll send Rex. He was on the wrecked it.
Okay, we are on our normal level then, correct?
It's the top level, so
Okay, so yeah, just making sure. Didn't know it was like 5A.
yeah, no.
Okay, yeah, we'll get out and guide her somewhere and try to find some material to teach her a trade.
Okay.
We have a medical bot, so we need someone to help out with
Lord Corion says, "Why not send Rex now? He's not here to say no." I'll send him back down for a super chat. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do terrible things to players in the games for money.
Science.
Not just a little bit of money. Anyway, all right. So you take her off somewhere to teach her a trade. Rex says, "This is so highly unusual. Those robots that attacked you in the, for lack of a better term, operations center down there, that could be some key to understanding who she is and what she was doing down there. I'm not saying we should go down there right now and fight them, but
well, maybe with some more firepower.
Yeah.
If there's some kind of way that we could shut them off from up here, or as you say, take firepower down, and deal with them accordingly.
How goes the hydroponics up here and the growth of the vegetables? We got all the people back here last time. I wasn't here last game.
Oh yeah, you guys had the bubble car. You had managed to move. Well, I forget, James. Did you guys go back and get some of the folks from Outpost 76?
Yes, we made several trips, and the car was drained. We had to leave it sitting for 3 days. That's why we went downstairs.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, and those people are actually back at Good Springs, or rather, Good Water, which is close enough.
So it's a bustling community now.
Well, it's two bustling communities. You've got the people here in this citadel of the ancients, and the folk over in Goodwater.
Cool.
Are there any maintenance manuals that we could have her read and learn how to work on machinery and stuff, the computers and the?
Possibly most of that information was lost during the war, but a larger trade center somewhere might have some of them.
Okay.
What if we sat her down in front of a computer monitor?
You don't know?
Well, we'll try that. We'll just sit her down in front of one.
Yeah.
All right. She just sits there with her hands.
Looks at it blankly.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, exactly. Sits there with her hands in her lap. Sort of looks up at you pleasantly but blandly.
It'd be nice if we could get her to access some of the base functions.
She'd be kind of dangerous. Maybe she might be doing the same thing that we do, pushing buttons and hoping we find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
A good idea to just turn her loose, or
no, not turn her loose. She sets off all the nukes.
Click, 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 click. You maniacs, you finally did it. You blew it up.
Okay, well,
to
I guess.
Well, I think what we'll do, we're kind of in an impasse because you guys have met the android now, and Rex isn't here. Do you guys want to keep going, or do you want to do you want to regroup when Yang Yan Zhao is back?
I wouldn't mind waiting until we get more players in here to get it moving forward. That way.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that way we're not leaving anybody behind or anything.
That's always a danger too when you have a group, is that you go and you explore and you do stuff, and then the players come back the next week and you're like, oh, you don't have a +5 Holy Avenger and +5 Plate Mail too? We found a whole barn full of them. You look good in leather armor. No, it looks good on you. You're fine. It looks good on you. All right. So definitely we'll get in some more players for next week. We do have open spots, by the way, on the Friday night game. Don't think that I'm just running this for a couple of people. So if you have an interest in playing some first edition Gamma World, finding out what it's all about, rolling on those lovely tables to see if you cause a computer to explode or dispense ice cream, drop me a line on the Discord, or you can mention it in the chat on any given Sunday. And if your schedule is agreeable, we'll see if you can come aboard. But I want to thank our two players, James and Mobius, for being here tonight and being good sports about it. Thank you to our audience. Now, I will be back Monday evening for some general chit-chat and whatnot. Our player here, James, will be back on Tuesday with the rest of the AD&D group.
Yep.
How about you, Mobius? Other than this Gamma World game, what do you do for tabletop?
Play the BX game on Sundays, and I also play in a Call of Cthulhu game. That's where I go on
Excellent.
Thursday nights.
Awesome. Dungeon Minister says, I'm looking forward to playing in James' game in Guac. You running anything for the con, Mobius?
No, I don't think so. I got too much on the go.
I understand. Well, thank you all again to the audience. Thank you earlier for the super chat from Volcano God. I appreciate that quite a bit. Lord Corian says, "Nice Call of Cthulhu." We love us some Call of Cthulhu around the Delver's Dungeon, folks. I love it. So you guys have an absolutely spectacular weekend and have a good Mother's Day. Send your mom some flowers. Take her out to lunch. Your wife, whoever in your life that means something special to you as a mom. Go do that and have a great one. I'm going to dip on out of here. Thanks again to our players and audience. Y'all have an absolutely fantastic weekend. Peace.
Good night, everybody.